Welcome to the Never Too Early Fantasy Football Podcast, where it is never too early for fantasy football. My name is Jeff.
I'm Alex.
As always, thank you for downloading, listening, liking, and commenting on our podcast videos. Please join our community by subscribing to us on the socials. Our handle on all platforms is at N2E Fantasy. We're also available on all major podcasting apps by searching N2E Fantasy. Alex, what do we have on today's show?
On this episode of the Never Too Early Fantasy Football Podcast, we are previewing our Week 8 matchups of the 2024 NFL season. So, we covered our news in the last episode. We're going to get diving right into Thursday night, and we have no teams on bye this week. Kind of an odd week, but we have the Vikings at the Rams on Amazon Prime. Jeff, who are you taking in this matchup?
So, in this particular matchup, I am going to go the Vikings to rebound from last week, but I would be comfortable starting both starting running backs, Jones and Williams. Be comfortable starting Kupp, Addison, Jefferson in this matchup. I don't believe Puka will play in this game here. As far as tight ends go, I mean, if Hawkinson is available, you could fire him up. But probably not going to start either quarterback in this matchup until I see it from Stafford. And then Darnold really wasn't drafted as a starter.
All right. I'm still going to go Vikings as well. It's not inconceivable that the Rams could pull off a victory in this one, but Vikings,
Agreed.
I feel, are the stronger pick this week on a short week.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. All right. So we are on to game number 2 here, Alex, and that is the Cardinals at the Dolphins. We have Tua Tagovailoa coming back. Who are you starting, sitting, and who you got in this one?
I'm going to go with the Dolphins in this one, assuming Tua plays. Obviously, if he doesn't play, I would swing it back to the Cardinals, but I'm assuming that he is playing this week, and Dolphins need a pick-me-up, and Cardinals just played a tough late Monday game, so I think the Dolphins at home should be able to pull off a victory here.
Good, and I am also going to go the Dolphins with the same caveat as well. I could see this going right back to the high-powered Dolphins offense that we are used to.
Are you starting Marvin Harrison Jr. in this one?
Heck no. I am out on Marvin Harrison Jr. until he starts performing at a higher, more professional level.
So I'm starting James Conner and McBride on the Cardinals side. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. and Michael Wilson are wide receiver threes or flex plays this week for the Dolphins, starting Achane. Mostert's a desperation flex play. I feel like you have to put Tyreek Hill out there if Tua's playing, and as well as Waddle. Jonnu Smith could potentially be a fill-in tight end if you have one that's injured or you desperately need someone to play. Outside of that, I don't think there's much else I would start.
I kind of agree with that as well. And any Dolphins running back outside of Achan that is
I said Mostert as a desperation flex.
not in on Jalen Wright yet.
Not with those two guys there. He's still third in the pecking order.
Absolutely. All right.
So we have the Falcons at Buccaneers, Jeff. Who you have in this matchup?
I have to go the Falcons in this matchup, and that's only because the Buccaneers' top 2 weapons are going to be out for this matchup. But it is not inconceivable after what happened last week to have the Falcons lose, but I expect them to play very angry in this matchup. Yeah, give me the Falcons in this matchup, and you could start pretty much everyone on the Falcons offense. Bijan, Pitts, London, even Cousins. On Tampa's side, I probably would start Cade Otton. I probably would bench Baker because we don't know how he's going to look without his top weapons.
All right. I'm also going the Falcons in this one. Not inconceivable. Buccaneers could pull off a victory in this one either, but I trust the Falcons just a little bit more. I don't want to get too swayed on a week by week outcome. So Falcons it is for me. I would also add Darnell Mooney as well. And if you have to start a Buccaneers wide receiver, I'd consider Jalen McMillan. As far as Buccaneers running backs, I guess White at this point. I still think Bucky Irving's a decent flex play. I would love to see Sean Tucker get more run, but he's, I think, third in the pecking order as long as those two guys are healthy.
Yeah, I would concur with that as well. We saw White get a lot of pass catches after Evans went out last week and when they were down. So look for that to happen again if they go down big.
Okay. Ravens at the Browns. I'm going Ravens. It's kind of hard for me to go away from the leading MVP candidate, in my opinion, and the Ravens are just a better team all around. Browns could get a weird upset week. It wouldn't surprise me. I just feel overwhelmingly Baltimore in this one.
Yeah, me too. I think Baltimore will win this matchup. I think they'll keep the eye on the prize. Browns are a little bit influxed right now. They don't have a number one weapon. I know you think maybe it could be Tillman, but we will see. But Chubb's still working his way back from that injury. He's still definitely not 100%. So give me the Ravens in this matchup.
Okay. Definitely starting Lamar. Definitely starting Henry. Flowers, I feel like you still got to play Flowers.
If he's
Mark
healthy.
Andrews might be back. If you have another tight end option that's still good, might start him over Andrews until you're 100% sure. But if you have Andrews and he's your best tight end, you got to play him.
Exactly. He's back.
All right. Colts at the Texans, Jeff. I'm very curious where you go with this one.
The Colts and the Texans. So we have a matchup here that is a rematch of week 1, right? Did they match up week 1?
Yes, they did.
So it's going to be a close matchup, but I do expect the Texans to take this just like they did week 1. And I expect them to do it pretty handedly, even without Nico Collins here.
I'm also taking the Texans. I'm trying to think. You start all the usual suspects, all the starters for the Texans. I'm not sure that there's anyone I'd start for the Colts unless Jonathan Taylor's playing. I'd play him.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Anthony Richardson is a desperation play going forward. Boom or bust.
Okay. So next we have the Packers at the Jaguars, Jeff, and
We sure do.
this is probably relatively close, but I'm still taking the Packers at this point. Packers are the much hotter team, much better. Really hard for me to go away from them.
Yeah, I also have to go the Packers in this matchup. Although, I mean, the Jaguars just had 2 weeks in London, so they're going to have a little bit of jet lag there, so we can expect that. But Packers are playing too good right now, which is really funny considering Jordan Love went out in week 2 with a really bad knee injury that we thought was going to take him out for a significant portion of the season. And here they are sitting at 5-2 with Jordan Love in the starting lineup. And I don't think that could have worked out any better for them. I think Malik Willis had a few good games for them as well. So, but I'm starting all the usual suspects. I mean, it's a roll of the dice with the Green Bay wide receivers, but you could start Jacobs, Love, Reed for sure, and then on the Jaguar side, you could start pretty much all of their weapons except for Gabe Davis at this point. I think you still can start Christian Kirk. We'll see who is the running back there, if it's ETN or Bigsby.
I think you have to play Bigsby no matter what.
Okay.
But if ETN's there, it slides Bigsby to flex. If ETN's not there, then he's starting in your running back spot. Okay. So Jets at Patriots, Jeff. Is Drake May going to be able to beat Aaron Rodgers, or are you going with the Jets in this one?
So, in this particular matchup here, this was probably my hardest matchup of the week so far. And I'm going to go the Jets in this one just because they're so desperate for a win. And the Patriots are coming back from London and they have a rookie quarterback. So this matchup should work out how I just said it will, where the Jets just eking one out.
Well, Jeff, it looks like we have no differences so far. I'm also going with the Jets. Don't quite trust the Patriots to get a win in this one yet.
Yeah, and we're losing some faith in Gerard Mayo as well. So there is that little caveat here. But in this particular matchup, you can definitely start Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, and Ramondre Stevenson would probably be about it for sure starts. Pop Douglas would be on the outside looking in. Hunter Henry's probably a must start in this matchup as well. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers is kind of on the outside looking in as far as that goes.
All right. We got the next matchup here, Eagles at the Bengals. This is probably one of the tougher matchups that we've gotten to yet, and I'm going to give the edge to the Bengals right now. They're the better offensive team, so I feel like you got to start all of the major players for both teams. You have to start both quarterbacks, Burrow and Jalen Hurts. You got to start all the wide receivers, so Chase and Higgins, and you also would want to start AJ Brown.
Probably Devonta Smith
Outside
too.
of that, Saquon Barkley for sure. Probably lean Chase Brown if you're looking for a running back spot or flex. He's built up more of the carries of late over Moss there. It's pretty much it for them, unless you like any of the other Bengals receivers or if you like Gesicki.
Yeah, I'm not a big Gasecki guy this year. I'm not a big Cincinnati tight end guy since Irv Smith burned me last year. So burned. But Alex, I always knew that eventually we would have a difference. And this is not the game. I'm also going the Bengals in this matchup.
Like your little fake out there. Nice little fake out. All right, Jeff, we've got the Titans at the Lions. Who you got in this matchup?
So, first of all, previously you said that there's no Titan to start outside of Tony Pollard. That is correct. And the Lions here, you could start Goff, which I would recommend. You could start Montgomery, which I would recommend. You could start Jahmyr Gibbs, which I would recommend, and St. Brown, and even Sam Laporta. I would probably recommend both of them this week. Sam Laporta, obviously, we haven't seen it this year, but with Jameson Williams projected to miss this game due to a PED suspension, he seems like to be the right and logical choice here. But given the fact that I would start one fantasy player from one team and 5 or 6 from the other, give me the Lions in this matchup.
I am also taking the Lions, and I'll just add the caveat that you have to watch David Montgomery's status to see if he's playing in this next game. He did pick up a minor knee injury, but it may be a pain management thing where he can play through. So we don't quite know 100% yet. So just keep an eye on that. And if not, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be a top 5 running back play this week.
Even without, he's top 10, right?
Yeah,
Top 12,
I agree.
or even with, I mean, right.
Yeah.
So we can hop over to the Bills at the Seahawks. Alex, this game here projects to be very high scoring. I think you could start both quarterbacks, both starting running backs. You could start Cooper and Shakir Coleman. You could start Metcalf if he's healthy and able to play in this game. You could start JSN and Lockett in this matchup. As far as tight ends go, Kincaid is the only one I would start there. But Alex, who are you taking in this particular matchup?
I'm taking Buffalo in this matchup. I think that they're the better team, and I think Metcalf probably isn't playing this week. I think he's potentially missing a couple weeks here. So that to me It's do or die for Jackson Smith and Jigba. So if Metcalf misses, then Jason better perform. Otherwise, it might be time to jump ship on him for this season.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be awesome if Metcalf played though, because I think this could be an absolute shootout if both teams had three weapons that were excellent. But give me Buffalo in this matchup as well.
All right. Well, Jeff, I want to see where your head's at on this one. We have the New Orleans Saints at Chargers. New Orleans is getting most of their offensive firepower back. I think Carr is still likely to miss this matchup, but Saints at the Chargers. Who do you have?
So I am going to go the Chargers in this matchup, and I just don't believe the Saints are going to be even remotely healthy for this matchup. But in this matchup, you could start Herbert, Kamara, and that might be about it that I would be comfortable starting. J.K. Dobbins. But that might be about it. Will Disley seems like he's earned a role, so that's someone that I would pay attention to in this matchup. But give me the Chargers.
Hmm. If
I
Taysom Hill's back and Olave is back,
don't think they will
I think
be.
I'm gonna lean Saints in this one.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go Saints.
Yeah, I don't think they will be. Taysom Hill was dealing with a rib fracture, I believe, and that sounds super painful for running the football.
Let me just
And
look up their injury status real quick. Right now, it looks like they're leaning towards positive results. So I'm gonna pick the Saints on the condition that those guys are back. If they're not back, I will switch back over to the Chargers.
yeah, and it looks like
A lot
it's.
of because some conditions this week.
I know, I see that. We should call you Captain Condition, but Olave remains in concussion protocol as of yesterday. So he has not escaped it yet. And Derek Carr does appear to be trending towards playing, but there might not be anyone around him to play. I'm putting an L for you. It's up to
All
you to
right.
tweet out if you change it and tag me.
Okay. All
Great.
right, next matchup here. Panthers at Broncos. I don't think I'm ever going to pick the Panthers again, so I'm going Broncos in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm going to match you on that one. Whew, Javonte Williams and Hubbard and Deontay and maybe Sutton are the only startable pieces right now for both of these offenses.
What about Nix? He's getting rushing yards every week.
I wouldn't start him. I think there's better options out there, but that's totally your call, Alex. You're the Knicks guy.
Oh. You know, Bo Nix is quarterback number 14 right now in fantasy.
Yep, it's exactly where Russell Wilson will finish by the end of the year, just so I could win our bet.
Uh-huh.
He's holding that spot nice and warm.
All right. Bears at the Commanders. Jeff, who are you picking in this one?
Man, I don't expect Jaden Daniels to play in this game, so this will be a Marcus Mariota game, most likely. It'll be harder to start Robinson and Eckler, but I think you still have to. And then you also have McLaurin, that's probably a must start. And then you have Ertz on that side of the ball. As far as the Bears go, you could start all of their weapons. So Komet, Moore, Allen, maybe even Odunze. That one's harder for me personally. And then obviously Swift and Caleb Williams, because you're starting Caleb Williams and you're not starting Marcus Mariota. Give me the Bears in this matchup.
And for the same reasons, I'm also taking the Bears.
Great minds think alike. And this next matchup, Alex, is the Chiefs at the Raiders. And the Raiders always say that the Chiefs are their Super Bowl. Will the Raiders beat the Chiefs in this matchup? Or will the Chiefs remain undefeated?
I'm taking the Chiefs in this matchup. Raiders are a dumpster fire at this point. So
Hey, you told them to hire Antonio Pierce, and they did. They listened to you. And Alex, you should have sat in on the interviews.
well, I didn't tell them to trade for Devonta Adams and give him the bag, and I didn't tell them how to draft. So
Fair. That's fair. I'm also going to go Kansas City for the same reason. Mahomes, Kelsey, Kareem Hunt. Probably the only Chiefs I feel very comfortable starting right now. Raiders, man, maybe Madison, maybe
Bowers.
Tucker. Bowers for sure. You're right. Absolutely. So one for sure, and then a few maybes.
All right, Jeff. I'm wondering if we're going to have a difference here. We got the Cowboys at the 49ers. Who are you taking here?
So in this particular matchup, I had to actually look to see who I picked. I am going to go the 49ers in this matchup. Believe at home, Sunday Night Football. They just got beat by the Chiefs in a Super Bowl rematch. They'll have Pearsall in the Ayuk role. Debo is TBD, but I expect Juwan Jennings back for this matchup. Kittle 50-50. And Mason, you can fire up. Purdy, you can fire up. Lamb and Prescott, you can fire up. And that's probably about it in this matchup. But give me the 40.
I really expected you to go the other way on this one. Oh.
It's
Yeah,
probably
you
more of a
almost typed
toss-up.
it too. You almost typed it in. I'm going 49ers in this one as well. I just don't believe in the Cowboys right now, and that the roster that they have is not great. So,
That's what Jerry Jones said
49ers it is. We have one difference,
so
and
far.
that's a conditional difference anyway. But we have one
With
difference, and we have one game left, Jeff.
with one game left. So is it a coincidence here, Alex, that Russell Wilson's first two games back this year with the Steelers are prime time games? And this one is actually a much easier opponent, in my opinion, here with the Giants, the other New York team. And basically, in this particular matchup, I would have trouble starting any Giants running back. I would start Malik Neighbors. And that's probably about it from the Giants' perspective. If you're desperate, Wendell Robinson. But from the Steelers' perspective, I'm okay starting Russ going forward. I'm okay starting